The College Baseball Experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up today with promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And we are back here on the College Baseball Experience. What's going on, everybody? My name is Noah Bieniek, aka 77, and I am coming to you from a new location. And man, oh man, am I a new man. Freshly shaven. I thought I was done on camera for the next week or so. But you know what? Around 2 a.m. today, after being a little bit of buzz, July 3rd, the day before July 4th, Independence Day here in America. Happy July 4th to everybody out there celebrating. I checked my DraftKings Sportsbook app, and we have MLB Draft betting odds. Opening lines, I assume, because I went and checked Twitter, nobody else was tweeting about the new markets that were put out there. And I think I'm not going to claim that I was the first one to notice this, but I think I was definitely one of the first ones. And it's very, very nice to see me be able to get on some opening lines for the MLB draft for the first time in my life. We're going to go straight to it. The number one overall pick. This is why I'm doing this video here on July 4th morning at 3:30 in the morning. I've already done this, tried to do this once. It totally flopped, but I'm back here trying to do it again because if I don't do it again today, if I don't do this episode today and I wait to do it later on the weekend, I'm still in this location. And also, the odds are going to move. So I want to put this out here immediately. This market is very, very fluid, and the best way to attack it is build a portfolio. And what I'm saying is right now, Travis Bazzana is plus 100, JJ Weatherholt plus 115. What these organizations do, and specifically it's this year with Cleveland Guardians, they're selecting the number one overall pick. They're going to feed information to the draft writers. So MLB Pipeline, Baseball America, Perfect Game, blah, yada, yada, yada. These guys receive all of the same information from the organizations. And in each news cycle, typically like a week or 2 weeks, they get fed the information and then they put it out on to their mock drafts. So these odds directly display the latest the latest mock drafts out there in the industry. And I just think Charlie Condon, the best player in college baseball, being plus 850 is a valuable bet. Grab that immediately. Also, Jack Caglione, 12 to 1. That's not going to be the same here throughout the cycle. Get a piece of both of these guys. Then, when the news cycle switches later on this weekend, and JJ Weatherholt might not be in the conversation, he's probably an underslot. He's not really up there with like the same pedigree as the others, but he fits the mold of the way that Cleveland usually likes to draft with their middle infielders. The way the MLB draft works is they're not drafting the best available player. They oftentimes draft towards their organizational strengths. You look at Milwaukee, their general manager, Matt Arnold, has made 4 first round selections in his career at the Brewers. All 4 picks have been college hitters. They just have trends that I like to follow when looking at these betting odds. Yes, Bazzana and JJ Weatherholt make the most sense. Personally, I have Travis Bazzana in my mock draft that's currently being edited over here at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. It's going to be out there later on this weekend. However, Condon being the home run king in college baseball, also supplying some power at a corner infield position that Cleveland just does not have around in their organization, makes a ton of sense for them to also pick him and not just, uh, you know, force feed another shortstop into their system because they already have plenty. Condon at plus 850 makes sense. Jack Caglione 12 to 1, and then just wait for the news cycle to change. get Pizzana at like 2 or 3 to 1. I think he's probably going to be the favorite for most of the time here. JJ Weatherholt could go to 4 or 5 to 1. The wild card here that I've heard some buzz about a couple of weeks back was that Cleveland was feeding some writers whether or not they were hemming and hawing on taking Chase Burns at number one, because it would save them a little bit of money compared to if they drafted Charlie Condon with that bonus pool. If they save some money with the allotted number one overall pick bonus pool, they can spread that money around to all their other draft picks throughout this year's draft. So, um, you know, Chase Burns at 30 to 1. Personally, I'm not going to bite at that cheese, but I know some people that are going to end up biting on that 30 to 1, and that will probably decrease over time here as we get closer to July 14th, the day of the first round in the MLB draft. But number one overall pick market isn't all we've got here. That's what one thing to come away from this video, that's what I would come away with. We have 36 other MLB draft props, and that's why I wanted to make this video, is because we've never seen this before. It is consistently growing the popularity of college baseball and the popularity of the MLB draft continue to grow in just interest. And this year it's evident in the betting markets. There's 36 other you can draft, whether over or under draft position for a lot of players, and you can also draft head-to-head matchups of some players. So like Hagen Smith and Chase Burns are matched up against each other. I've wrote down 7 of my favorites here that we're going to get to on the other side of this show. First, I've got to make a little bit of money. I'm doing this at 3:30 in the morning on July 4th. Allow me to read off an ad or two. The college baseball experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up today with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. And we're also presented by Rhythm. Get the best dad-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. We're also brought to you by footballcontestproxy.com. Yes, the Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contests are beginning soon, and you have to get out there in person in Las Vegas to sign up, and then you can play anywhere through a proxy, and that's when footballcontestproxy.com is going to come in to save you $50 when you sign up with them with promo code SGP. Okay, home free here on this episode. Like I said, 36 different draft props out there currently. I'm going to read you off 7 of my favorite here. Carson Bench, over 16.5 for his draft position. Right now, you can get that at -110. The under 16.5 is -120. Right now, a lot of the buzzy positions for Carson Bench are 17 to the Milwaukee Brewers, 18 to the Tampa Bay Rays, 19 to the New York Mets, also 21 to the Minnesota Twins, 22 to the Orioles, but I'm not seeing him in draft circles higher than 16. And we're getting him at 16.5. Give me the over. We're getting the very, very fresh betting odds. I like the over 16.5 here for draft position on Carson Bench. And this is not what I believe to be a lot of these players' talents. This is just buzz that I'm hearing and reading and have been over the last few weeks in MLB draft circles. I don't think there's a landing spot for Carson Bench prior to 16. And we're going to set the market. We're going to get down on these early, and we're going to move some lines because I do think that a couple of them are off. The next one is James Tibbs. This is set at 9.5, and I don't agree with this. Tibbs, the only landing spot actually for Tibbs would be number 1 overall. And that was a couple weeks ago when we had heard that Tibbs' name was floating around as an under slot deal. The other one that could make sense is 8 to the Angels. The Angels just love their college bats that are ready to go to the pros. And for obvious reasons, I mean, in years prior, Shohei Ohtani was on the team with Mike Trout. Now they still have Mike Trout, and you would like to win right now. So they just want to get the most MLB ready players onto that MLB team. So his most likely landing spots are 1 and 8, but after that, he is all over the place in the teens. And at 9.5, I'm gonna get a piece of that, and this is probably going to be set around 10.5 or an 11.5 later on in the week for sure. The next one here for me is Nick Kurtz under 11.5. This is currently uh, minus 105 on the under, minus 125 towards the over. Nick Kurtz is a guy that's losing steam. He really doesn't pop off the page in like star power or anything like that. And he also battled a shoulder injury in the middle of the year, but it didn't slow him down power wise. He started off slow. Then after the injury, he really heated up and found form. I think there's landing spots for Kurtz at 1 in an underslot deal with Cleveland, and that's common. I mean, there's a lot of different options that Cleveland could go. I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. The most likely one, and the one that I currently have him mock drafted to, is 4th overall to the Oakland Athletics. He could also go to the White Sox, and he could also go to the Angels. All of those teams are under 11.5. Also, a good chance that he could go to the Nationals as they're looking for a bat in some circles as well. So I just think there's more options in landing spots for Kurtz under 11.5 than there is over 11.5. The other name here for the you know, over under draft positions is Ryan Sloan. And this is a guy that a lot of you guys may not have heard. And I admit I had to do some research on him a little bit as I'm mainly a college baseball guy. But Sloan has plenty of stuff from a right handed arm, and he's a commit to Wake Forest. His fastball is in the mid to high 90s with good ride. He also has 2+ pitches with a changeup and a slider to offer to hitters on both sides of the plate. With a strong lower half, Sloan creates great extension off the rubber. Um, I couldn't find a strong MLB comparison for Sloan, but I gave him Hunter Green because Sloan doesn't hit the triple digits as often as Green, but there are just some similar pitching mechanics and pitch repertoires between the two. That is strictly word for word from my mock draft article that's going to be coming out here later on in the week. It's currently getting edited right now. It's just word vomit, 4,000 words, but they're all short blurbs. I've just got 39 picks. And when you're doing 100 words per player, I mean, it adds up quick. So yeah, Ryan Sloan under 31.5 makes a ton of sense for a lot of teams. Marlins like their high school pitching at 16. The Mariners love their high school pitching at 15. Also, the Rays could be in play for this. Even the Dodgers and the Braves like their pitching. That's who I have Sloan currently mocked to as 24th overall to Atlanta. The Padres love drafting high school players. The Phillies love drafting high school pitchers. There's a lot of landing spots here under 31 for Ryan Sloan, who's currently sitting in the top 20 in MLB Pipeline's prospect rankings. So I think this one's probably going to move a little bit too. Under 31.5, that price is at least going to shorten and at the most climb into the 20s here for the over-under draft position. Now let's get into some specific player versus player head-to-head propositions that I love. Give me Connor Griffin over Bryce Rayner. Griffin has 2 landing spots that I personally love that make a ton of sense. He either goes number 5 at the White Sox or number 6 to Kansas City Royals, in my opinion. I don't think he falls lower than that. Bryce Rayner's name, the earliest I'm seeing is 9 at the Pittsburgh Pirates, 10 to the Nationals, 11 for the Detroit Tigers. It's kind of like right in those three. Sorry, as I I just whacked my microphone out. I'm currently doing this from earbuds currently because I left my professional camera, professional microphone at home. I'm doing this from my phone. My phone's here. That's where my camera's at. I got my laptop and then I got my iPad that I'm reading the betting odds on. 2 more picks here before I'll get out of here. I like Nick Kurtz to be drafted before James Tibbs. For some reason, this is plus 130. Um, doesn't make a lot of sense to me at all. Tibbs is minus 160. Like I said with Kurtz, I'm on Kurtz here. I think the prices are a little bit wrong. I know he's not been a very hot topic lately in MLB draft circles, but I think he could have a chance to go fourth to the Athletics, who I currently have them going to. Also, he's been in rumors to go number one overall with Cleveland. Also, number five to the White Sox, seven to the Cardinals. They like their college players. Eight to the Angels. It makes a ton of sense for them to draft a college ready hitter. The thing about Tibbs is he's falling into the exact same spots as Kurtz. And we're talking about Kurtz, who's been this highly touted prospect from high school, or we're talking about James Tibbs, who really had an outstanding year this year, but he came out of nowhere and he had some strikeout issues. It recently, or not recently, but like scouts had noticed that he swings a lot at or chases a lot at off speed pitches, and that's the one hole in his swing. Whereas Nick Kurtz is just a contact lord with power. I think he goes in front of James Tibbs this year. And then the last pick that I have, and it's further down the draft pick or the draft board. I don't know if either one of these guys have an ultimate shot to be taken in the first 25 picks. But I like Tommy White to be drafted before Kalen Culpepper, the shortstop from Kansas State. This is also plus 105. Culpepper, being a shortstop, he's more of a physical shortstop than a toolsy, and that's just not very appealing to a lot of teams, a lot of organizations in the MLB. Plus, they probably are going to be able to play a little bit of leverage on Culpepper rather than Tommy White, who's been a star in college. He's going to, demand some money here. And he's going to be taken, I think, in the late teens, the 20s, early 30s. Kalen Culpepper's name's not really buzzing around until the 30s. So I think there's just a lot more landing spots for Tommy White here before. So I appreciate all you guys for tuning into this episode. I just wanted to get out there immediately, beat a lot of people to market. We got a lot of opening lines here, which is amazing, and I'm going to get some action in here before a lot of these move. It's going to be tremendous to see kind of how the lines move over time here. I've got screenshots of all of the opening lines, so I'll have some interesting analysis later on in the week when we're going to fully dive into this on the college baseball experience. Possibly, I'll do some radio hits. Who knows what's in the future here? Go check out my hot dog eating contest article if you haven't already on sportsgamblingpodcast.com for July 4th here. And go check out this mock draft article that I'll have out here sometime in this week. I've put a lot of time into it over the last week, and that's what's given me a lot of confidence with some of these early angles because I've already been working on all of this. So you've been experiencing the better side of college baseball with the College Baseball Experience. Adios, amigos.